1849, the California Gold Rush. Keeping a secret. On the morning of January 24, 1848, James Marshall went to inspect the ditch. It carried water to the new sawmill his crew was building in California. At the end of the ditch, he spotted something shiny under the water. It was gold. 4 days later, Marshall showed the gold to the owner of the mill, John Starter. Shelter has taken land from the Nisian people and made a deal with the Mexican government, which controlled the area at the time. Shelter had also kidnapped and enslaved many native people to work the land. Shelter tried to get everyone to keep the secret that gold had been discovered in California. 6 days after Marshall found the gold, Mexico signed the treaty to end the Mexican American War. The treaty gave California to the United States. Sam Brannan, who ran a store near Charter Mill, soon let out the secret. Brannan filled a bottle with gold dust and ran through the street yelling about the great discovery. The city of 850 people almost emptied after Brannan told them each the tool they needed to find gold: picks, axes, pens, and shovels at very expensive prices. Panning. Unlike gold in most places, California gold was locked deep under the ground. Erosion had long ago washed the metal down the mountain and into rivers. Miners used a technique called placer mining. It allowed them to sift gold out of the riverbed using a shallow, flat pan. Pro- prospectors stood in rivers and shoveled gravel into the pan. They removed large rocks, then carefully swirled the pan. The dirt and gravel spilled over the edge with the water. The shining flakes of gold stayed at the bottom of the pan. The 49er rumors soon reached the eastern states about gold out west. A California official sent a report about the gold to Washington, D.C., along with a sample. In December 1848, the president told Congress about the discovery. It was true. Gold fever, greed, and contagious excitement brought on by the discovery of gold took hold of many people. At the time, many workers earned less than $1 a day. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. In 1849, around 19,000 people, called 49ers, joined the gold rush. The 49ers came from across the United States as well as from Mexico, Central and South America, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Around 10% of the 49 were women. Black people were among the 49ers as well. Some were enslaved and were forced by their enslavers to go to California. Free black people also traveled west in hope of finding gold. The trip to the gold mines could take months, and it was not cheap. People had to pay for transportation and supplies. Many 49ers left behind jobs and families. They planned to make a fortune quickly and return home. Others were ready for adventure. People from California and Oregon showed up first at the river near Shutter Mill. Locals only had to travel short distance with their packed animals. It took longer for immigrants to arrive by boat from Asia, Australia, and South America, and for people to cross the United States by ship. About half of the 49ers decided to travel by ship to avoid crossing the lands of native people. Ships took from 5 to 8 months to sail from the east coast around the tip of South America and back up to California. The cheapest ticket was $25, about 2,300 in today money. The passengers suffer as a result of shipwrecks, seasickness, and disease, as well as from crowding and boredom. Some passengers decided to save time by taking a shortcut through Panama. They could canoe and hike across 60 miles, 97 kilometers of jungle, then catch another ship. These 49ers faced many dangers, including bad weather and wild animals. Many fell ill and died. If they made it across, it would take weeks or months to catch a ship on the other side. By wagon, it took about the same amount of time to get to California by wagon. Much of the land that stood between 49ers on the east coast and California was still the land of native peoples. Settlers moving out west often hunted without permission, stole from native peoples, and attacked them. Most people left from Saint Louis, Missouri, and westernmost U.S. city at the time. Wagon followed the California Trail for 2,100 miles, 3,300 3,380 kilometers across the flat prairie. A wagon could travel about 15 miles, 24 kilometers in a day. If it didn't break down, there wasn't much rain and the oxen stayed healthy. The 49ers had to get the wagon across rivers, up mountains, down cliffs, and across deserts. They were pounded by rain, wind, and snow. Even worse danger facing 49ers came from disease, starvation, and accidents. For those who made it to California, life did not get easier. Pro- prospectors lived in tents and worked 12 hours a day. Many fell ill. They didn't want to give up. The next pan of gravel might be worth a fortune. Equal opportunity. As the hill filled with prospectors, white miners began to treat other groups hunting for gold badly. White prospectors sometimes forced prospectors from other countries to leave the mines. California taxed miners who came from other countries such as China. Many different groups of native people live in California. They spoke around 80 different languages. As 49ers flooded the area, attacked forces native peoples of their land. Thousands were killed outright and thousands more died of disease. Once California became a state in 1850, the government took land from native people. Soon fear and hatred led to thousands of native people becoming enslaved. New law allowed settlers to arrest. New law settled to arrest native people for minor wrongdoing. The government then forced them to pay their fines by working on ranches. Around 300,000 native people lived in California before the gold rush. More than 100,000 were dead 20 years later. Finding gold didn't make life easy. Those who found it often lost it. Robbers were common. Prospectors often gambled. Gold cost much more money than people were used to paying. Some early prospectors were successful. Most of the riches from gold went to large companies. They were able to mine for the deeper gold. Some people made a fortune by selling the miners. Sam Brennan became one of the first millionaires in the United States. Levi Strauss made his fortune selling pants tough enough to handle the work. Blue jeans women started businesses cooking, running boarding houses, and washing clothes. The Golden State. White settlers, the U.S. government, and wealthy people came out on top after the gold rush. Native peoples had a much different experience. The gold rush brought around 300,000 settlers, mostly white, to what that were once native lands. Today, California has more people than any of the other 49 states. It has a huge economy, larger than that of most countries. Nearly 2 centuries after the gold rush, California still lives up to its nickname, the Golden State.